Arniston was an East Indiaman that made 8 voyages for the British East India Company. She was wrecked on 30 May 1815 during a storm at War in Huiskrans, near Cape Agulhas, South Africa. With the loss of 372 lives, only 6 on board survived. She had been requisitioned as a troop ship and was underway from Ceylon to England on a journey to repatriate wounded soldiers from the Kandyan Wars. Controversially, the ship did not have a marine chronometer on board, a comparatively new and expensive navigational instrument that would have enabled her to determine her longitude accurately. Instead, she was forced to navigate through the heavy storm and strong currents using older, less reliable navigational aids and dead reckoning. Navigational difficulties and a lack of headway led to an incorrect assumption that Cape Agulhas was Cape Point. Consequently, the ship was wrecked when the captain headed north for St. Helena with the incorrect belief the ship had already passed Cape Point. Overview: East Indiaman operated under charter or license to the Honourable East India Company, which held a monopoly granted by Queen Elizabeth I of England for all English trade between the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Horn. Arniston was built at the Barnard Yard at Deptford on the Thames and launched in 1794. Arniston was heavily armed, with her 58 guns making her the equivalent of a Royal Navy fourth-rate ship of the line. A classification of ship of the line, a class of ship that later evolved into the battleship, meant that a ship was powerful enough to stand in a line of battle, and explained why these ships of commerce were sometimes mistaken for men-o' war. The armament was necessary for the ship to protect herself and her valuable cargo from pirates and commerce raiders of other nations during long voyages between Europe and the Far East. Arniston, like other East Indiamen, was slow and unmaneuverable, but able to carry a large quantity of cargo. Voyages: Arniston sailed from Great Britain to the Far East 8 times before her last voyage. On one of her homeward journeys from China, she struck an uncharted rock at 5 degrees 46 minutes 8 seconds south, 105 degrees 16 minutes 43 seconds east, 5.76889 degrees south, 105.27861 degrees east, minus 5.76889, 105.27861. Near the island of Pulau Gundi, located just south of Sumatra. She did not suffer any ill effects as a result of this incident, however, which is mentioned in journals of the time only for its noteworthiness as a navigation hazard to other shipping. Apart from this and another incident in 1800, Arniston's first 8 voyages were uneventful. Voyage number 1. St. Helena, Madras, and China. Captain Campbell Marfurry-Banks. The 3rd of April 1795. Portsmouth. The 14th of April. Tenerife. The 2nd of June. St. Helena. The 9th of August. Cape of Good Hope. The 27th of September. Madras. The 14th of November. Penang. The 3rd of December. Malacca. The 11th of March 1796. Whampoa. The 23rd of April. Second Bar. The 29th of June. Macau. The 20th of November. St. Helena. The 1st of March 1797. Deptford. While Arniston was at St. Helena on her outward journey, she undertook to transport troops from there to join Lord Elphinstone, who was undertaking an expedition to capture Cape Colony from the Dutch. On 10 July George Vancouver arrived in HMS Discovery. Vancouver was returning to England after his 4.5-year-long voyage of exploration. He transferred to Arniston 4 field guns that he had been carrying, together with what ammunition he had left for them, for onward transmission to Elphinstone. Discovery's boats also helped in the ferrying of troops from shore to Arniston. Arniston was to ferry 9 field pieces, as well as a company of artillery and 3 of infantry, to Elphinstone. Voyage number 2. China. On this voyage Arniston sailed under a letter of marque in the name of Captain William McNamara, and dated 13 May 1797. Her itinerary was the 5th of June 1797, Portsmouth, the 29th of August, Cape of Good Hope, the 9th of December, Whampoa, the 14th of February 1798, Second Bar, the 26th of March, Macau, the 5th of August, St. Helena, the 23rd of October, Long Reach, Voyage No. 3, St. Helena, Bencoolen, and China. On this voyage Arniston sailed under a letter of marque in the name of Captain Campbell Marfrey-Banks, and dated the 29th of November 1799. Her itinerary was the 7th of January 1800, Portsmouth, the 4th of April, St. Helena, the 27th of June, Bencoolen, the 29th of July, Penang, the 27th of August, Malacca, the 21st of September, Whampoa, the 29th of November, Second Bar, the 18th of January 1801, Macau, the 15th of April, St. Helena, the 17th of June, Long Reach. During this voyage Arniston had just anchored at Bencoolen on the 27th of June 1800, when the 26-gun French privateer Confiance attacked her. Arniston cut her anchor and gave chase, firing several broadsides into the other ship, but the faster French ship was able to make an escape. On the 9th of October 1800, the East Indiaman Kent would be less fortunate. Confiance would capture Kent after a 2-hour engagement. Voyage No. 4, St. Helena, Bencoolen, and China. Captain Campbell Marfrey-Banks, the 31st of December 1801, Downs, the 9th of March 1802, St. Helena, the 10th of June, Bencoolen, the 12th of July, Penang, the 31st of August, Whampoa, the 24th of October, Second Bar, the 11th of February 1803, St. Helena, the 26th of April, Long Reach. Voyage No. 5, China. On this voyage Arniston sailed under a letter of marque in the name of Captain James Jameson, and dated the 24th of March 1804. Her itinerary was the 9th of June 1804, Portsmouth, the 17th of August, Rio de Janeiro, the 14th of January 1805, Whampoa, the 14th of February, Second Bar, the 21st of March, Malacca, the 30th of June, St. Helena, the 15th of September, Long Reach. This journey included a passage through the Bass Strait to improve an earlier nautical chart of the route. Voyage No. 6, China. On this voyage Arniston sailed under a letter of marque in the name of Captain Peter Wedderburn, and dated the 20th of March 1806. Her itinerary was the 14th of May 1806, Portsmouth, the 7th of August, Cape of Good Hope, the 10th of October, Penang, the 21st of January 1807, Whampoa, the 4th of May, off Linton Island, the 1st of July, Penang, the 17th of July, Aceh, the 19th of September, Cape of Good Hope, the 13th of October, St. Helena, the 6th of January 1808, Lower Hope. Voyage No. 7, Bombay and China. Captain Samuel Landon, the 21st of January 1810, Portsmouth, the 9th of April, Cape of Good Hope, the 26th of May, Bombay, the 1st of September, Penang, the 12th of October, Whampoa, the 29th of December, Second Bar, the 28th of May 1811, St. Helena, the 13th of August, Long Reach. Voyage No. 8, Bombay and China. On this voyage Arniston sailed under a letter of marque in the name of Captain Walter Campbell. Her itinerary was the 4th of January 1812, Torbay, the 5th of April, Johanna, the 7th of May, Bombay, the 11th of September, Whampoa, the 4th of January 1813, Macau, the 27th of March, St. Helena, the 7th of June, Long Reach. On this voyage the army arranged for Arniston to carry troops to the Cape and India. Rec. The Royal Navy requisitioned Arniston in 1814 as a troop transport to repatriate soldiers of the 73rd Regiment. who were wounded in the Kandyan Wars in Ceylon, to England. Critically, the ship did not have a chronometer for this voyage, a comparatively new and expensive navigational instrument at the time. Captain George Simpson could not afford the 60 to 100 guineas for one, and the ship's owners were also unwilling to purchase one, even threatening to replace him with another captain if he refused to set sail without one. Arniston sailed from Portugal on 4 April 1815 in a convoy of 6 other East Indiamen, under the escort of HMS Africaine and HMS Victor. Among her 378 passengers were many invalid soldiers and sailors, plus 14 women and 25 children. During the passage from Ceylon, at 1 o'clock every day, the ships signaled each other their longitude that they calculated using their chronometers. In this way, the ships were able to compare their respective instruments, and the master of the Arniston was able to learn his longitude too, as long as he remained in the convoy. On the 26th of May, while rounding the southern tip of Africa, Arniston separated from the convoy in bad weather after her sails were damaged. Without accurate daily longitudinal information from the other ships, Arniston had to rely instead on older, less accurate navigation methods. Navigation via dead reckoning proved particularly difficult as there were strong ocean currents combined with inclement weather that prevented a fix being obtained for several days via celestial navigation. On the 29th of May, land was sighted to the north at 7 a.m., and given the dead reckoning estimates, was presumed to be the Cape of Good Hope. The ship sailed west until 4:30 p.m. on the 29th of May, then turned north to run for St. Helena. However, the land sighted had in fact been Cape Agulhas, and the ship had also not made good headway against the current since this sighting. Compounding these navigational errors, the master had not taken any depth soundings before heading north. Consequently, instead of being 100 miles west of the Cape of Good Hope as presumed, the ship was closing on the reef at War in Huishkranz near Cape Agulhas. The anchors were unable to hold the heavy ship in the storm, so on the 30th of May near 4 p.m., Lieutenant Bryce advised Captain Simpson to ground the ship to save the lives of those aboard. 8 minutes later, at about 8 p.m., the ship struck rocks half a mile offshore and heeled into the wind. The guns on the opposite side were cut away in a failed attempt to level the ship, which soon started to break up in the waves. Only 6 men of the 378 people on board survived, after reaching the shore only with great difficulty through the high surf. The following morning, the sternpost was the only part of the vessel still visible. The ship and her passengers had been lost for the price of a chronometer, or as an officer from the same convoy later wrote, his valuable ship, and all the lives on board of her, were actually sacrificed to a piece of short-sighted economy. That they might have been saved, had she been supplied with the worst chronometer that was ever sent to sea, is also quite obvious. Aftermath. The 6 survivors buried the bodies found on the beach, then traveled east along the beach, expecting to reach Cape Town. However, after 4.5 days, they realized their error and returned to the site of the wreck. Here they subsisted off a cask of oatmeal, while trying to effect repairs to the ship's pinnace, which had been washed ashore. They were discovered 6 days later on the 14th of June by a farmer's son, who was out hunting. Among the victims were Captain George Simpson, Lieutenant Bryce, Lord and Lady Molesworth. The 6 survivors were Dr. Gunter, John Barrett, Charles Stewart Scott, William Grunge, Gibbs, Robinson. A memorial, a replica of which can be seen today, was erected on the beach by the wife of Colonel Giles, whose 4 children were lost in the tragedy on their homeward journey, having visited him in Ceylon. The memorial bears the following inscription: erected by their disconsolate parents to the memory of Thomas, aged 13 years, William Noble, aged 10, Andrew, aged 8 and Alexander MacGregor Murray, aged 7, who, with Lord and Lady Molesworth, unfortunately perished in the Arniston transport, wrecked on this shore on 3 May 1815. Over time, the seaside village of War in Huishkranz has become so associated with the wreck, that it now is also known as Arniston. The nearby town of Bredasdorp has a museum dedicated to the wreck. The wreck had a direct influence on the decision to build a lighthouse at Cape Hagelhas to the west in 1847 to 1848. 37 years later, the 73rd Regiment once again suffered hundreds of casualties on this coast when HMS Birkenhead was wrecked only 50 miles away at Gaines by archaeological excavation. The wreck, which lies in about 6 meters of water, was surveyed by an archaeological team from the University of Cape Town in 1982. The National Monuments Council issued a permit to UCT student Jim Jobling to conduct an underwater survey of the site, as well as a limited excavation. A number of artifacts were recovered, which were donated to the Bredasdorp Shipwreck Museum.